Hi, everybody. My name is Kerri Mubarak. I am at wooingnature.life, and this is the January reading for my Libra partners out there in the zodiac. I hope everybody is doing great. I am looking at your astrological chart, doing a bit of a lunar look this month. I didn't really look at some of the other planets. I was just moved to really look at what was happening with the moon. Totally working intuitively with these readings and these charts. I just kind of go with the flow. Whatever spirit says to look at, that's what I look at, and then I go from there. So I really felt moved to look at the moon energy and what was happening at the new moon at the beginning of the month, and then the full moon toward the middle of the month. And then because it is Gemini season and Gemini pulls us to look at the dualities of life, I've decided to go with Holitska's I Ching. There it is. Oh, Holitska's I Ching deck, only because it requires, in its process of divination, it just requires that you pull the two cards. The first card representing the passage from the I Ching, and then the second card gives you the changing line. So that's a little bit different structure than typical I Ching. For those of you who are familiar, or for those who aren't familiar with it, the traditional I Ching readings were done with the counting of yarrow sticks, and then you got the coins. So the three coins, I think, is what a lot of people are really familiar with. But of course, things advance, things move, things change, and we now have I Ching cards. And this particular deck, I was very impressed with. I'm kind of an I Ching purist. I do I Ching the yarrow sticks, and I also do the coins as well. So I was a little resistant, being the Capricorn that I am, a little resistant about doing something that's new, but I really fell in love with this deck, and also I found that it's a really a very useful tool. So we'll be reading from the I Ching this month, and then also we'll be looking at the lunar movements, the major lunar movements that are happening for you, Libra. All right, so Libra folks, this month your ninth house and your third house are being activated by the moon. The ninth house at the beginning of the month with the new moon, and then the third house toward the middle of the month uh, with the full moon. So I'll tell you a little bit about what that means. The ninth house is where you get your higher learning. Now, this moon, this new moon that's coming in, as well as the full moon, has some implications around moving past the ego into more of a super consciousness, I guess we're going to call it. I don't know. I'm sure there's probably some other term for it. But getting past the self and moving beyond that to where we are really connecting with each other in some in a better way. I don't want to say better, but just in a different way. And so the Plutonian energy as well as Pluto's energy, and Saturn's energy is also making some real major changes for all of us. And so the moon is kind of in synchronicity with that right now in the month of June. And it's saying, hey, we know that you want to take care of yourself, and we know, you're good, but it's now time for us to really see ourselves in a different degree, or at a different decibel, if you want, or at a different frequency, where we are lending ourselves to others for as an example, or for inspiration, somebody to look to, really stepping into our own individual leadership roles. And leadership requires for you to think about other people. Now, that doesn't mean that, you got to go be the general in the army. It doesn't mean that you have to be the chief of staff. What it means is that wherever you are, you know, move past self, look beyond self, and pay more attention to the people around you and how their presence and their influence is making an impact on you as a human being, and also um, how you are then doing that for someone else. We're all here to help each other, and I think that this energy is really looking at that. So anyway, that said, in the ninth house, um, that kind of movement is going on there. Now, normally in the ninth house is where we're kind of feeding ourselves intellectually, either through higher learning, going to college, going to getting your graduate degree, getting your doctorate degree, doing some extensive study, and then maybe even extensive travel somewhere. But whatever it is that you're doing, it's also House of Philosophy. So it's all about expanding your mind, and doing things, or the things that cause your mind to be expanded. And expansion really comes from exposure and kind of getting outside of your parameters a little bit, like our comfort zone, or our little bubble. So that's what's going on in the ninth house. Now, how does this tie in with the moon? It ties in because instead of it being so much about learning something new, which again feeds the self, it may be time now for you to give back what you've already learned. Okay, and then the act of doing that then becomes teacher for you. You can't be a teacher without being a student. Every teacher knows that when you are teaching, you are learning while you're teaching. Okay, if you are a student, you are teaching someone else. Maybe you don't know you're doing it, but that's what you're doing. So this moon in the ninth house is saying to me to drink deep. The old saying, there's a little learning is a dangerous thing. You have to drink deep. So the ninth house wants us to drink deep, but it also is saying that what you have consumed, then share that out, give that out, let that be a part of the giveaway. So take time and space to do that. Take time and space to reach out to other people. An overindulgence in gaining information or getting information is it feeds the self. I'm not saying, don't get your education, do it. If you feel moved that you need to go to school, do what you have to do. But it's also asking for you to give back in a way as well. All right, so later on in the month, it's if the full moon is moving into your third house, which is about communication. So there again, being in a position to communicate to others, to share with other people what it is that you've already learned, really is good. And also, this is going to give you an opportunity to kind of rally the team around a common goal. It could be a goal that you have, but it's also a goal of other people. So as you start to connect with other folks, if you are out traveling, if you do have the opportunity to be in a space where you're learning with other people, then this people that are there may then become a part of your team for another project or for another effort or for another thing that you may be doing. So in this case, you can be the hero. Separate yourself from your own agenda and use what you know and try to see the bigger picture, and then you can really see some other things through to the end. So Libra, that's what we're looking at now. A little higher learning, little communication between you and some other people. Most definitely seeing that for you. And being in this position of being teacher, both teacher and student, I think that's really an interesting place, especially again, we're in the Gemini season. So Gemini always kind of forces us to look at these opposition things that seem to be in opposition, teacher, student, whatever, learning, and then the learned, so to speak, and then kind of playing around with those two. But I would definitely say that whatever situation you're in where you are being exposed to other people with other streams of thought, then look at where you are. Look at what you find yourself doing in that situation, and then looking at how what you know can then can contribute to whatever is happening with the group. And that can go, like I said, that can be anywhere. That can be at a conference, that could be on your job, that could be in your home, wherever you find yourself with your crew or with a group of people that that you're learning from. basically. All right, so I'm going to jump right on into the I Ching. I'm going to pull two cards. Holiska's method is asks us to take one card, pull the other card. The second card represents the changing line. So if you know about the I Ching, then you know it's called I Ching is the book of changes. So we're looking at the changing lines, the lines that have changed actually on the card, and then those lines correspond to other messages. So we'll read all of that. As I'm doing this, you may find that some of this from the I Ching, some of the passages may resonate with you. Some of them may not resonate with you. The thing about I Ching is that you just want to kind of listen and take it in, and the things that jump out at you are the things you need to pay attention to. All right, so Gemini, your card is, oh, let me get my spectacles. I brought them today. I brought them. I have to shine them up. All right, so this is number 17, and I'll let you just take a look at that image. The image does correspond with the message. I'll just let you be with that. All right, and the next one is number 41. Now, we won't be reading the passage number 41 because that is the changing card. We're just going to look to this card for the lines that change, and then we'll read the lines that corresponds to in the first. So we're going to pay really close attention to passage number 17. I am going to jump right to it, and it corresponds to a passage called emulation and adaptation. In the ancient Chinese text, this sign is synonymous with the autumn. All life adapts to the yearly cycle. Decay follows creation. You achieve your goals insofar as you keep the reality in mind and do not go against the grain of fate with misplaced opposition. Be peaceful and open-minded. Do not waste your energy on the struggle against beliefs which cannot be changed. Now, I think that's probably going to be significant to you, Libras, as we're talking about this, you being in the circle of people where you're learning from them, okay? So if your beliefs are different, or if you find that, things are not quite the same, saying don't waste your time struggling against that. Again, you're learning from other people, they're learning from you. Very significant. Only those who can be dishonest will find the strength. Oh, wait a minute. Only those who can be honest will find the strength to lead others. If you proceed with trickery and force, you will achieve little except resistance. Okay? So, we're not playing any games. We're being open, we're being honest, we're being ourselves in this process. Look closely at your own ideas and values. Bring them into harmony with your environment. And again, talking about this circle of people. It looks like it's going to be some different beliefs there. That's cool though. You'll learn a lot. You will go further if you can put aside preconceptions and outdated views. Okay, Libra. So this is good stuff. Few things jumped out for me. Maybe some other things jumped out for you. That's why we read the whole thing, because what jumps out for me may not jump out for you. It's all intuition. This is going off my intuition. Your intuition may be telling you something else. That's cool. But what I'm looking at is being peaceful, being open-minded in these circles that you're going to be in. Don't struggle against people that you all don't see eye to eye. A lot of times people, you say, well, I know some years ago everybody was talking about, oh, I just want to be with like-minded people. I'm just trying to find like-minded people. I just want to get with my people who are more like-minded. I'm like, you're going to have a boring circle of friends. You're going to be bored to death. Okay? Don't worry about if people don't believe what you believe or think like you think. That's not what this is for. Again, the moon, the new moon is asking us, and the full moon are asking us in the month of June to get past yourself. It's not about you. It's about what you can actually glean from other people. All right, so be honest, it says, and that's when you find the strength to lead others. Again and again and again, all throughout the last from Aries, or not Aries, from Gemini to Cancer, all of the ones that I've done so far, there's this theme of leadership that keeps coming up. It's coming up in every reading. I'm seeing it in every one. So this must be really significant to all of us. Um, let's see. Look at your ideas, look at your values. This is not about changing values, it's just being able to be really aware of them, hyper aware of them. I think that's good. All right. So I am going to now look at the changing lines and just to explain to you what I'm talking about for those of you who don't or aren't as familiar with I Ching as others. So what happens is this is the first card we pulled. And what we do is just kind of look at each of these lines. So like this is a solid line and this is a solid line. And then this one changed. That's what we mean by changes. Okay. So the second line, there's a change. The third line, there isn't. There's a change in the fourth line because it went from solid to broken in the fourth line. There's a change in the fifth line, and there's a change in the sixth line. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to this reading, and we're going to find these lines, number 2, number 4, number 5, and number 6. Those are the ones we're going to read, 2, 4, 5, and 6. Hope I've got that right, but I'll double check if I need to. 2, 4, 5, and 6. I'll read those to you now. Line 2. And some of these lines may resonate with you. Some of them may not. Whichever ones resonate, cool. This is just digging a little deeper into the message, okay? Line 2. Examine your goals and relationships. Are they beneficial to your development or do they lead you astray? A bad influence undermines the friendship of generous people who could strengthen the good in you. Again, get outside of your little bubble, okay? Line 2. Line 4, you are surrounded by psychophants. I don't know what that means. I've got to look that up. Who are merely seeking self-advantage. Well, that's what it means. You remain spiritually free and independent of external forces only if you can resist adulation. Whoa. Oh, wow. Wow. So, another depth, another little level of depth around the people that you're going to be around when you're in these new circles. Interesting. Line 5, you need a higher ideal for which you are prepared to make a sacrifice. If you wish others well, it will reflect kindly upon you. All right, so higher ideals, higher levels of thinking, moving past the ego, that goes with it. And the last one, line 6, don't go about frantically seeking self-advantage. See, it keeps talking about this self-advantage. It's not about you being able to advance your goal. Now, I'm not talking about advancing. And see, these words sometimes can get you tricked up. Okay? We're not saying don't move forward in your life or don't progress. We're all progressing. We're all evolving as human beings from the time we take our first breath until we take our last breath. We are evolving. Even beyond that, when we take our last breath and we go on to the other side, we're still in a process of some form of evolution. So it's not so much about that. It's about your mindset. And so if you're always trying to advance your idea, like it's about me, that tends to be about ego. You know, like I've got what I want to do and can't nobody stop me kind of thing. That's advancing ego. That's not what this moon is all about. Not at all. So again, it talks about self-advantage. Help others and let them profit from your experiences. This contributes to the success of your own plans. So just kind of put your thing on the back burner a little bit. Just a little bit. It doesn't mean it's on the back burner. It's still cooking. Okay? We didn't cut it off. We didn't take the pan off the stove. We didn't throw out the beans and the rice. We didn't. But we're just going to let it simmer back there. Okay? And then you're going to take this time to not be about self-advantage. So I think it's interesting that one of the lines talks about people, the people around you being about self-advantage. And then the next line talks about you not being about self advantage. So if you're in these circles in the beginning of the month, if you're in these places, whether it's classrooms or you're taking a trip somewhere or you're around people that are different with different beliefs and different thoughts and different all this kind of stuff, don't well, I'm not going to say don't. I'm going to say pay attention to when you find the urge to, project your agenda forward, or when you feel agitated because, oh, somebody isn't, turned on by my idea, or whatever it is that is going on. So, like, don't do all of that. What you're doing is being open, and being open to what you are going to receive from others, and then allow yourself to be true, earnest, honest, whatever it is, and then that will then get you where you want to go. Let somebody else take your pot off the back burner. Put it on the back burner and let somebody else say, hey, what's this cooking back here? It don't look like some beans and rice, and they've been back there simmering and they look good. You know what I mean? So that's it, I think, for you, Libra. I wish you the best for the month of June. I hope everything goes well. Reach out to me and let me know how this reading resonated with you. You can leave your information down at the bottom. Keep in touch. I know like next month or whatever this time, June will be over, and you'll be moving on to the next video or the next whatever. But come back and listen to it and see if any of the stuff did end up resonating with you, and then let me know about it. I'm curious. I'm always curious to find out like how it worked out. Okay, so definitely check in with me. If you would like your own personal astrological reading, or you want your own personal I Ching reading, you've got some other questions, you want to dig a little deeper, you can reach out to me at Kerri, Kerri, at wooingnature.life, and I'll be glad to help you out. All right, have a great June and enjoy it. Bye bye.